Anjani, is that you? Oh, how wonderful. Come on out here. Hi. I'm good. So this is Anjani Thomas. She's a performer, a singer, and in her last project she took some poems by Leonard Cohen and set them to very beautiful, very sultry music. There's a little hit of it here. Can we bring that up?
Gave my heart to a mountain, but I never loved before. I'm nervous when you turn away. My heart is always sore. Tuxedo gave me diamonds, but I never loved before. Been on the road forever, I'm always passing through, but you're my first love and my last. There is no one after you.
Okay, can we bring that down? That's not what she's here to do. We met a couple weeks ago in Los Angeles. It was, can I tell him? Sure. Yeah, a little strange event. I happened to be in LA, so I called my pal Leonard. It was a Friday, and he said, come on over for a little Shabbos dinner. And he gave me an address. So I drove for a day and a half and traversed all of LA and eventually found that restaurant. It was a Korean restaurant. And they were having a Shabbos. So there were candles on the table, there was some challah, and there was shab. So we got to talking, and it turned out that Anjani was all fired up about genetically modified food, GMO, and in particular a certain company that is identified with it. And I said, do you want to take a shot and appear at Idea City? So here she is, Anjani Thomas on GMO.
Thank you. So obviously I'm not speaking as a scientist or researcher. I'm a consumer. I love food. I love to eat it. I love to cook it. I dream about food, actually. And what concerns me so much is that although food looks today pretty much the way it did 20 years ago, apple pie still looks like apple pie, and a steak still looks like steak. But you may or may not know that pretty much 90% of the food supply has been genetically modified. And one of the reasons why I feel that this is so dangerous is because it's been done without our consent and without our knowledge. And there's been some pretty serious suppression of information and research that proves that it's really not healthy for human beings. In fact, you've been eating it for probably the last 10 or 12 years, and there have been no human clinical trials on GMO foods. So we are the testing laboratory, unless you're eating strictly organic food, and you can really vouch for where it came from. So why even do it? Does anyone know why, or are you familiar with this? I don't want to preach to the choir, but basically two reasons. And one is to take a cell from a food, let's say it's a kernel of corn. And it's for two reasons. We either Monsanto, for example, would like to make it either drink herbicide or produce it. If it drinks it, that means it becomes herbicide resistant, and farmers can spray hundreds of millions of gallons of pesticides on the crops and it'll still grow. If they make it produce its own pesticide, wow, what does that do? That's taking a gene from Bacillus thuringiensis, or BT, and it's injecting it into the cell of the corn. So now you have each little cell of every kernel of corn on your corn cob, and it's as if each cell has its own internal bug spray. So when the bug eats it, its stomach breaks open and it dies. Monsanto says, and it's been used as a natural pesticide for many years. It's biodegradable and it washes off in water. But again, we don't really know what it does to our human digestive systems. Monsanto says it disappears in your digestive tract. But what they don't really know, some scientists, doctors actually, at Sherbrooke University Hospital in Quebec recently did a study of 30 pregnant women, and they found that about 28 of them had Bt toxin in their digestive systems. 80% of umbilical cord blood also tested for Bt toxin. How did it get there? They're surmising that these women ate a normal Canadian diet, whatever that is, but pretty much it wasn't an organic diet, so they just ate normally. Fast food, shopped at grocery stores and cooked their meals. So they figured out that it came from livestock who were eating Bt corn. And maybe if any of you had a burger for lunch, think back to how it was prepared. It was probably cooked in canola oil, which you all know comes from Canada. 90% of canola is GMO, as well as 90% of corn, 90% of soybeans, and 90% of sugar beets. So the livestock that are eating GMO feed also get high doses of hormones to make them grow quicker. They also get high doses of antibiotics so that they don't get sick because they're stuck in these tiny feedlots. So it's kind of a bummer that this is what our food choices have been reduced to, these modifications. And it really provides no nutritional value, no health benefit. It's purely for financial concerns because Monsanto has patents out on these seeds and they sell them to farmers at a higher cost. They don't really advertise the fact that once you plant seeds from Monsanto in your field, you'll never be able to grow anything organic there. Pretty much anything but those seeds will die. So what does that mean for the consumer now? We're at a really pivotal point in history where consumers can no longer depend on the government to protect your food supply. It's like, here we are, our guts are becoming living laboratories with these GM proteins that are continuing to reproduce. So they're growing. We don't know for sure what they're going to do. Although studies have been done on mice, and I'll tell you, since we're speaking a little bit about sex, that mice grow about 1/3 smaller compared to control groups. They become, the things they come down with, everything from liver and kidney toxicity to connective tissue disease, things that in humans would look like cancer, multiple sclerosis, arthritis. It's really serious, and it's such an alarming thing. So, oh my God, we're out of time. I could talk forever, but the main thing I wanted you to do is to be aware, eat organic. You will pay more for it, but would you rather pay the farmer or would you rather pay the doctor? It's really, really critical. You have the power. If you stop eating GMO foods, pretty soon Kraft, Pillsbury, GM, all these companies will get the message and they'll stop producing this food because you're not buying it. And they'll demand that their suppliers use non-GMO products. So I just want to alert you on October 16th, there's a Millions Against Monsanto march. And if you have the time to lend your voice and your vote, to let your legislators know that you're just not cool with eating this stuff. And there's a really great website called responsibletechnology.org. Tells you everything you need to know about GMOs, makes it really, really simple and easy to understand. Because your health is at stake, the health of your children's at stake. Men know that in the tested mice, their testicles were smaller, and the cellular structure of the testicles was significantly altered. Hamsters fed GMO soybeans lost the ability to reproduce in 3 generations. Most of their babies died within 3 weeks. So again, it's essential that we stand up and we raise our voices because we have the power. You have the power to stop it now. Thank you.
I must say, I wasn't at all informed about this, but your charges are so significant. Is there not an authority, a regulatory process, a testing process that would have put these things under some kind of a microscope?
Well, the former vice president of public policy at Monsanto was appointed by President Obama to be the senior advisor to the FDA. So he, along with Tom Vilsack, who's a big proponent of GMO foods, they pretty much fast track and rubber stamp every Monsanto proposal that comes through to further the GMO agenda. So no, government is not looking out for your welfare.
What is the stated benefit of a GMO adapted seed?
Financial. Purely and solely financial. No nutritional benefit.
Does it produce more? Bigger, bulkier, prettier?
No, in fact, Indian farmers who were told that planting GMO cotton seeds would give them better yields actually found out that the yields were 5 times less than traditional cotton, and they got 7 times less income because the cotton fibers were actually shorter than traditionally grown cotton.
It's stunning, really.
It really is.
Wow, thank you.
Thank you so much.
And you're staying in town? Will you be here tomorrow? Yeah. You come to the party? Good.